Well, welcome back, guys. As you can see, well, I'm in the underbelly of the car, the underbelly of the beast, aka Jigsaw. Let me flip the camera around and show you what I'm doing in the underbelly of the beast today. Well, guys, getting ready to repair this, but I wanted to put the wheelhouse in here just to kind of see how things set, because I need to see if I need this. This is where the previous owner cut out the inner for the rocker. So the rocker should extend out and basically go here and then come out, here as well and kind of square off in this area. So this was all cut out. This is where he cut, the structure out of this part. You can see I hacked this out so I could do some hammer dolly work in there. So what I'm going to basically, I need to remove this guy, get this out of here, so we can take the roof off and stuff, so we can start putting metal back in. But before we put metal back in, I'm going to cut this and this. I want to do some wheel well checks to see what's going on, what I need to repair down in this area, what I need to cut out and fix. And what I may do is cut all this stuff out, fix this area of the rocker, go to the other side, do the same thing. Then we'll fix this. I need to weld this right here real quick where I did some repair to the outside, made it more flush because it was just way too far under flush. So, and then we'll do a little cleanup and stuff, and you can see here's some of where they had the original asphalt type stuff, right, for the sound deadening. So the wooden oil can, the quarter panel, and then the same back there. So we'll have to do something in here as well. So what I may do is, put this structure back in and get this all done. And then, put some of that, maybe a spray on or Dynomat-ish type stuff, right? Get this rust all cleaned up, get it painted, and then we can put some material in here while we're doing this, and I have easy access to all this. So anyway, let's get kind of started. All right, guys, so because the body was getting very loose and jiggly, I built this reinforcement. I really couldn't weld, like I would like to, right, cross this way and cross this way because I need to cut these panels out. And all that bracing. So I really can't brace back there. So what I came up with is I built a brace across the roof, a couple vertical support braces, and then I put this old piece of roll cage tube from the car in here as a side brace. And now she is nice and rigid. She doesn't move. So now I can, cut that side panel out if I want to, cut this side panel out. I'll do one at a time. And put the side panels back in. But at least now I have access to them, and I can cut them out and finish doing all the work and not worry about the roof collapsing down on the car, so to speak, or buckling the quarter panel now that I've got that structure weakened. All right, guys, so by me cutting this structure out, obviously the body is a whole lot weaker. This is actually part of the original wheelhouse. I need to actually drill these spot welds out. I need to cut this piece out. So, because here's, the wheelhouse piece here, that's supposed to sit right there. So I need to cut this out, finish cutting this out. This is actually the original floor pan on the bottom. Then I just welded this on top here. So I want to keep this original lower piece for right now until I put the new piece in, but we got to cut this old piece out here, get rid of this piece. We'll grind these down, get rid of this little, I don't know if you can see it, probably not, get rid of that there, grind that smooth, and then we'll patch up this area real good. Well, guys, as you've been saying, I've been making a lot of repairs to this, structure and the wheelhouse and things. One thing that happened was when I pulled that other piece out, which I kind of knew was going to happen, and I should have probably did this in the first place, it dropped down about 3/4 of an inch. So I had to use the jack, and I had a 2x8, where I was able to jack under the roof up, and then you can see right in that area there where it now fits. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this panel out. It's just set in there right now. It's not actually clamped or welded or nothing. Take it out, clean all the rust up, paint this whole area, do a little more grinding in a couple spots for the wheelhouse so it'll tuck up nice on there. And then we'll weld this panel in to be able to give it more structure. I'm not going to weld it up there though, because I got to cut that roof off. I'm going to take and put in some screws in there, self-tappers. I may actually drill it out. Maybe I'll bolt it in. I don't know. But so that way, at least then this will help support this whole area. And then when I get the wheelhouse welded in, then the wheelhouse will be welded to this too. And that will then help support this whole area as well as this area. So we're starting to make headway, guys. And then when I get this done, then I can go over to the driver's side and do all of it. So we're starting to actually do a little repair and reassembly in this video, guys. All right, guys, so I added some mat here, some sound deadening. Basically just to this point. I will add it all the way down when I'm ready to. But before I weld in this panel right here, I wanted to make sure it was easier to put the mat in, before I, like I said, welded that panel in. So we've got that in. I did some aluminum tape in the seams, just to tidy them up a little bit. And then I also had to remove this piece from here because this goes onto here and that attaches to the roof panel. So I will have to clean that up a little bit, and then we'll hammer and dolly it out when we set the other roof, before we set the other roof in place. So that way I can drop it in and, just take this and weld it back to here instead of having to cut all of this out and redo it. So guys, I got this panel now all welded in. Just a couple of screws holding it up there though on the old roof. That will be cut out. And then I set the wheelhouse in place with a couple clamps right now. And it is real close to fitting. So I just need to do a little work, so it fits a little tighter to this panel. And, and then I need to do some repair back here first before I weld it in. But I got this panel out here. So I'm going to remove all this crap so I can kind of just see how this panel fits to that panel. Granted, this is in there, but just to get an idea of how it sets. So guys, I'm just kind of wanted to see what things look like. You can see here's, the new truck panel. And then I definitely need to get this area here a little more this direction so it's nice and tight, and also so I can weld this to this. So I need to get this to squeeze up a little bit. That piece again is welded in. So I'm just kind of mocking stuff up a little bit to see how it fits. And, she's going to need some massaging in this area, this panel. And so we'll need to do a little massaging and stuff here down the road. But I just wanted to kind of get a feel for it right now, just to see how everything's starting to fit up and kind of go back together. So what I'm going to do now is take this off, get it out of the way. I need to do a little repair to the wheelhouse back in that corner. Now I kind of know how things are going to fit up. And then, we're going to go to the other side and start repairing this side now, doing what I basically just did. I'm going to probably cut this piece out again. I need to do some repairs there. Cut this piece out, put in the new piece, just kind of duplicate what I did over here now. All right, guys, to repair these two areas, what I've done is I actually have this piece here, which is from the shell body. So I'm gonna, you can see I Sharpied it. I'm gonna cut it out and weld it from the back side in place. Same with this upper part. And then I actually have, I don't have it here handy, but I have the piece for this as well, that I'm going to cut out, you know, here and here, and then I'll weld these on the front side, and then we'll grind these down to repair this area. So that is what we're doing, because, you know, the original owner wanted was thinking about doing suicide doors. So now I'm going back and fixing his handiwork. And if you one thing you'll notice, this is galvanized. So what I need to do is I need to weld, you know, or grind off as much of the galvanization as I can, because you don't want to weld galvanized. And then I'm going to have a couple fans blowing, all the windows open and everything. I'll be wearing a respirator when I weld all this up. Out here, I don't need to worry about it. It's just this panel here I need to worry about. And then the same thing here is when you weld, you know, this rocker is also galvanized. You know, I'll remove the galvanization from this before I weld in that other piece like I did over there. So just, you know, health things to consider, guys. You know, make sure you have good ventilation, respirator and all that, you know, drawing the fumes out when you're welding. So like I said, I'm going to grind all this stuff down. I'll weld the respirator when I, you know, remove the galvanization, all that fun stuff. Well, hey guys, so after a couple of weekends, basically, you know, doing repairs and putting in those quarter pieces right here, right? You know, some of the sound deadening material and behind there and stuff. You know, it was a couple of weekends of work, a lot of welding, a lot of, you know, grinding, a lot of repairing. So we got her in a good place now. Oh, I did forget to take off a piece that goes from the roof, right in that area, like I did on this side here. Ooh, I may have to go back and do that. Anyway, wish I'd have done that before I put that piece on though. Oh well. Anyway, like I said, that kind of wraps this one up, guys. Next, what I'm doing is I'm crawling underneath the car, because I really never looked at what it looks like underneath here. I know, you know, it's got pour on it and it's rusty and stuff, so I'm gonna somehow clean all that up, see what we got, and then we can start trimming the floor off that I don't need, so we can put in the new floor pan. But before that, I got to put in the wheel houses right in that area, right? So that's kind of next. Wheel houses, see what I got underneath there, and possibly putting in the floor. And then from there, we're going to go back over to the frame. So then we can set the body onto the frame at that point in time, and we can do the trunk work. And then once the trunk work is done, you know, once I get the wheel houses in, I think I can put in a couple of the braces as well. You know, so that'll help shore, you know, things up and keep it from a little being wibbly wobbly as well. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching, you know, subscribing, sharing, all that stuff. Every penny that I make goes right into this thing. In fact, I may be going, found something on Facebook Marketplace that I could use for this. So negotiating the price with the guy right now. So we may have something that will be used on the frame. Anyway, that will be in a future video. See you guys.